I don't even need to ramble on. You all know what time it is. This is the arc where a legend was born. The mean green aura farming machine makes his entrance in a saga where Toriyama completed the formula that would make Dragon Ball a household name for decades to come. Hello everyone, Rambles-on here, and today we are sinking our teeth into the first bite of the best that Dragon Ball has to offer. So let's dive in. When we last left off, Goku had just gotten robbed of his victory at the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai. It sucks to lose, but it needed to happen to test Goku's character. Goku is at that important moment in every young man's life where he's beyond the help of his masters. Whether or not he sinks or swims is up to him now. If a little setback like this was enough to make him lose his passion, then no master would have been able to turn him into the world's strongest. But it's Goku, so we all know that's not going to happen. Plus, we gained some new friends in the process, and the future of martial arts was revealed to be in good hands. All in all, it was a pretty good day. Now there's nothing left to do but pack it up, lick our wounds, and try again tomorrow.
Goku! 何がおいまさかクリリンが殺された。
Imagine being a little 5-year-old Japanese kid watching one of your heroes die at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. This had to have landed a few kids in therapy. Death is nothing new in Dragon Ball. Bora and Grandpa Gohan jump out as two of the most emotionally heavy losses. But this one just feels different. We barely knew those two, but this time, it's Krillin. We know Krillin. We've watched Krillin train alongside Goku. We've watched him fight evil with Goku. We've watched him show kindness, bravery, and strength just like Goku. But it's all good. We've established that Dragon Ball can bring people back to life, and we've got those. Except we don't. The henchmen made off with them alongside the registration records for the Tenkaichi Budokai. Okay, it's all falling apart. Reading this again made me realize Toriyama got sick of letting Goku have an easy ride for the past few arcs, and decided to bring his world crumbling down. His family keepsake has been stolen, the sport he participates in for a living is being threatened, and his best friend has been killed while Goku was wearing his very clothes. This arc could not have gotten off to a stronger start. Not even one chapter out of the gate, and we've established it's not just our characters' lives on the line, but everything they hold dear. Even if they survive, there'll be no point if they can't fight until their heart is content. And remember, that's if they survive. As it stands, Goku and Tien are exhausted after their match, Krillin is dead, Yamcha is debilitatingly injured, and Chaozu is Chaozu, leaving Master Roshi, the weakest of the gang by a considerable margin, as the only fighter at full strength. This is not a fight they're ready for, and to make matters worse, Goku is flipping out. He's not giving his body proper time to rest like he was taught in the first ever training arc. He's not heeding the advice of his former master, and he's yelling at the brains of the group to go against her better judgment. In my Red Ribbon Army Saga video, I talked about how Goku not controlling his anger nearly cost him his life, and his entire character arc from that saga forward was learning not to rush to snap judgments. Something that's very important for an alien who canonically gets stronger the angrier he is. But here Goku backslides. He forgets how rushing into a fight got him in trouble, and forgetting that cost him his cloud and nearly his life as well. This seems like a good time to talk about how the King Piccolo arc ties into the second half of original Dragon Ball as a whole. As I established in my last video, it's my belief original Dragon Ball consists of two halves, with the first half being about Goku's boyhood, concluding with Goku saying goodbye to the man who raised him, and the second half being about Goku maturing into an adult. and how it's up to you to continue growing, even without anyone to guide you. This arc continues with that theme of maturity by being about sacrifice. The King Piccolo saga shows that you can't become the best version of yourself without having to make some steep sacrifices. Be it Master Roshi overcoming the ghosts of his past by sacrificing his life, Tenshinhan atoning for his crimes against martial arts by being prepared to give everything against Piccolo, or Goku being prepared to lay it all on the line for his friends. So Goku gets stomped, and Piccolo's henchman gets away, and then we have the reveal of the big man himself. Everything about this introduction is perfect. He's a huge, hulking figure. This was back when every Dragon Ball character had to be larger than life to contrast against short little Goku, and it's very effective here. His throne has not one, not two, but 3 skulls on them, and they all resemble his henchmen, implying he could be such a taskmaster he continues to put his servants to work, even after the flesh rots off them. He's adorned in robes like you'd expect of royalty, with the trademark demon symbol across his chest. We've seen some ugly things in Dragon Ball, but King Piccolo is on another level. His face is so shriveled up and emaciated it gives off this uncanny valley effect. Look at him. He's so alien with his antenna and head basically being the stereotypical little gray alien man shape, and yet he somehow manages to fit right in terms of consistency with character design. With us having seen other monster designs like the Mummy, the Jiggler, and Spike the Devilman, preparing us for how gnarly Dragon Ball critters can really look. And he was freed by... You know, I'm starting to hate these 3. Bravo Toriyama for really stepping up their villain game. While the Pilaf trio used to be a minor inconvenience before, they've now actually gotten the world doomed and killed off a beloved character in the process. I used to find them boring, but now I really just want to bash Pilaf's little blue skull into the wall. So Goku crash lands in the middle of the forest. Injured, starving, and otherwise dying, he stumbles across... Yeah, okay, I wanted to be a straight glazer, but truth is, this arc just isn't as goated as I remember it being. Shocking, I know, but this arc has many flaws, and I can't pretend like I just don't see them. Take this guy. What are the odds that Goku just happens to get shot down over bump nowhere, and just so happens to run into someone who's not only got the MacGuffin he needs, and food prepared to heal him, but also just so happens to have a power level equal to Goku? Well, I say equal, but truth is Goku is probably several notches above him, but I guess we'll never know. Goku spent 3 years training. This random homeless man just happened to get stronger through the power of bum fu. There's a reason that every threat from this point on needed to be an alien or magic, because we'd long since transcended what it means to be human. Earth's strongest martial artists are so far below our main cast now, it's not even close. Like, very not even close. Let's run through everyone we know so far is stronger than the average jobber. Ahem. Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, Roshi, Tien, as much as it pains me to say it, Chaozu, Mercenary Tao, and debatably, Korin and the Crane Hermit. The number of dudes walking around with a power level that lets them hang with these guys should be in the single digits. But we just so happen to bump into one while he's taking a gap semester. It's a bit too convenient. Sucks too, because despite all the rearranging Toriyama had to do to make some of the later arcs in Dragon Ball fit, Dragon Ball is a very tightly written story, much more so than your average shonen. But this arc just has a lot more convenient moments to come. Piccolo sends more monsters to go and get Goku and Yajirobe, and even Piccolo points out the symbolism in sending a dragon to go and get the Dragon Balls. Now I know I'm jumping ahead a bit, but looking back on it, I appreciate the duality in Piccolo and Kami's minions. Both of them have an attendant who beats the shit out of Goku before he gets to meet the real deal. Both have a servant that looks like a dragon, and both get replaced by a little guy. Muscle Man and Goku turn Piccolo's minions into a quick bite, and you know it's bad if Goku rejects food. This kid ate a live wolf that was probably swimming with rabies, but turned his nose at grilled monster. If Yajirobe were a Saiyan, he'd be unstoppable from the Zenkai boosts he'd get from recovering from food poisoning. With his minions dying, Piccolo decides to handle this for himself. This should have been our first clue that something isn't right. Up until now, he's been characterized as pure evil. He killed Roshi's master, he's destroying everything Goku cherishes, and he wants anyone whose parents enrolled them in karate when they were 8 to die so humanity can never rise against him. Why would he care about his minions? To a guy like him, this should just be breakage.
Dude, it's called breakage, okay?
Keep this in mind for later. To discuss the next part of the story, I have to drop the P word. Ready? Power scaling. Hear that? That's the sound of half my audience leaving. Look, I agree that power scaling is highly reductive. At best, it kills the tensions around fights, and at worst, it completely ruins the discourse about a character by causing people to forget about characterization, character arcs, motive, imagery, and the role they fill in the story in favor of making judgments based solely on how well they make lasers go boom. But when employed properly, that's the P word that's important here. It can be a good tool for generating hype. Mangas live and die based off hype. And this arc has been hype farming since page 1. When we were told Krillin, who was easily the third strongest character so far, got offed effortlessly. Once more, we're told Krillin's killer is just the real bad guy's minion. This sends the audience's mind racing. If Tambourine is the third strongest character, how does that make his master compare to second and first? We can't wait to find out as Piccolo steps up. See how hyped I just made you for this upcoming conflict? Power scaling doesn't have to inherently take away from the story. On the good guy's side of power scaling, Goku has just been toying around for a while now. People Slopfest manga, where the hero rampages through the main quest, trashing all the enemy NPCs with no effort, and I could see the same criticism being levied at OG Dragon Ball. Going back through it, there are not many people that actually rival Goku in terms of power. Jackie Chun did, Tao Pai Pai did, and Grandpa Gohan did. But besides those three, none of the previous people Goku fought actually stood a chance, and only inflicted damage on Goku because of environmental circumstances. Even Tambourine folded instantly once Goku got back up to full health. This is where that trend ends, because Goku gets the shit beat out of him. King Piccolo throuses Goku so hard his heart stops beating is a meta way of saying, you thought we were having fun? Get real. Everything from this point on is life and death. Going back to this part of the series theme about growing up, there comes a part in everyone's life when they have to lock in. I'm not saying existence has to be all doom and gloom, but everyone has to make the choice to sink or swim, get professional, or forever remain an amateur. Goku got his first taste of this realization when he failed to stop Tao when Upa's dad died. This was the moment it became clear there's no dusting yourself off and saying, we'll get him next time when things go wrong. But he handled it, you know, he got the Dragon Balls, so it's all good. What's the harm in having a little fun if you know the situation is under control?
クリリンが殺された。
The truth is, despite all of Goku's discipline, he allowed himself to backslide. He backslid on the lesson to not give in to anger, and he backslid on the lesson that this isn't a game. While Goku might not have physically died here, his mentality did. A new Goku lives on, with the mentality that a real man goes into a fight prepared to give everything, knowing he could be the only thing standing between everything he cares about and the monsters of the real world. Speaking of which, we need to talk about how much of a BS moment it is that Goku survives this. Yes, I know naysayers will say several decades later, Bardock's wish would reveal Goku had in-universe plot armor, prevented him from dying until he became an adult. And even before this, we're told fortune teller Baba had a vision of Goku saving the world and, you know, kinda gotta be alive to save the world. But if anyone is genuinely going to use this to debunk my claim, I say you're back crazy, because all the glizzy gobbling in the universe couldn't convince me Toriyama planned out this far. And if you're gonna say this, well, there's some timeline where I could buy that, but that's the thing about suspension of disbelief. So many people pull suspension of disbelief like it's this get out of lazy writing free card. What they forget is that suspension of disbelief doesn't exist in a vacuum. You're supposed to suspend your disbelief when it comes to accepting the fictional universes just aren't like our own. I can suspend my disbelief that these kids can shoot laser blasts, because in this world that's something you can just do. But we've never established it's a rule in the Dragon Ball universe that your heart will start beating again if you just really want it to. And that's the issue. King Piccolo tells us Goku's heart is no longer beating. Considering the amount of dudes he's killed, You'd think he'd be the authority on this. But the next chapter, nah. Turns out Goku's heart just randomly starts beating again. You know what, it's best not to linger, let's just go. We cut back to the Z-Warriors having scraped together the remaining Dragon Balls. Master Roshi lets us slip that he's planning to use the Mafuba to give his life to defeat Piccolo. Except, no problem, because we have the Dragon Balls to bring him back. Except, yes problem, because we already have one person who needs a revive. Sure, we have Bulma's special Freezy Pods, but we already have quite a few bodies on our hands. And the line's getting longer by the minute. The lingering thought of this being the good master's last hurrah starts to build hype as these two approach the battleground. Piccolo is worried about someone sneaking onto the airship and stealing the Dragon Balls, and actually has the good idea to swallow them for safekeeping. Too bad he did it in broad view of our heroes, so now they can skip the legwork of searching for them, and okay. Are you all seeing my point yet? How there are several frustrating writing decisions that made this arc convenient for the main characters? But it's okay, because this confrontation is one for the ages. Master Roshi is miffed. Standing in front of him is the one who killed his master, killed his students, and is coming for the very existence of the sport he dedicated 350 years to. And I'm sure he blames himself for every bit of it. As he lounged, lazy in retirement, his thoughts must have always drifted back to the rice cooker, quietly sleeping on the ocean floor. The man who used martial arts as a way to protect, thinking back on the one threat he couldn't protect the world from. But now, it's time to fix it. As one final act of atonement, he'll sacrifice it all to make it right. Just the mere mention that he's a student of Mutaito, and has kept all of the Grandmaster's techniques alive, is enough to make Piccolo make a piccolo in his pants. And despite putting the fear of himself in the Demon King, Roshi misses. Okay, what the HFIL? Seriously, at the most crucial moment, Roshi misses? If it was one of the next gens, I could buy it. But Roshi, of all people? The dude who's practiced for over 3 centuries messes up one of the Turtle Hermit School's signature moves. The fuck? Piccolo wasn't even putting up a fight. This happened for no reason other than plot. This arc is definitely not as goated as I remember it. So Piccolo can now safely make his wish because Tien is knocked out thanks to Roshi spraying him with some weird stuff, and... Hey guys, why do we never talk about why Roshi, of all people, carries around a drug that can instantly knock people unconscious? And Chaozu dies as he lives. Doing nothing. Okay, this is bad. Goku couldn't even stand up to nerfed Piccolo. But now the nerf is gone. I have to be honest, it is really shocking seeing Demon King Piccolo's design after being so used to Demon Jr. Demon King has a much more skeletal face. It's creepy. And the first thing his scary mug does is blow up Shenron. Okay, dude. What the flip? I didn't even know Shenron could die. He just seemed like such an ethereal being. But that arm landing by Piccolo's foot clearly shows he was flesh and blood. And just imagine this from Shenron's perspective. A man wearing the face of your creator just blasted you to smithereens. That's gotta be heartbreaking. With him gone, the Dragon Balls drop to the ground, now worthless pieces of stone. And that's how they'll be for all of eternity. All our friends that we've lost, Roshi, Nam, Krillin, they're beyond saving now. And all we can hope for is to put this monster down so they might rest in peace. Now we're back to Goku where they're heading up to Korin's tower so that Goku can get healed and get some extra training to beat Piccolo. Reading this is so heavy-hearted. Goku is still cheerful and jokey, not knowing he's lost 2 of the people that mattered most in the world. And they can't come back. But also, Goku, quit lying, that squirt hasn't grown a millimeter. Side note, I don't think Toriyama's art did a good job of conveying Goku was injured. The entire reason he needed Yajirobe to accompany him was because he got tore up badly enough that he couldn't climb the pole on his own. But you couldn't have guessed it just from looking at the art, which still shows him standing and walking on his own just fine. I would have preferred it being made clear that his limbs were useless if he wanted to go with this whole injury plotline, but I don't buy that Goku realistically needed this piggyback ride. Yajirobe being his pack mule also personifies the biggest issue I have with his existence as a whole. To justify Yajirobe being around Tenshinhan levels of strength, Toriyama had to make wilderness survival training overpowered. We'll get shown later on that the best way to get stronger in Dragon Ball is to bum around in the woods for a bit, and I hate this. I hate it because not only does it contradict with what we established earlier when we were told people get stronger when they train with the goal in mind, but it spits on everything Goku did to earn the approval of his masters. Either living as a hobo makes you the strongest, or diligently training, drilling, and tutoring from the experts make you the strongest. These two are direct contradictions, and you can't have it both ways. And maybe the blame doesn't fall on Toriyama here. In the real world, when the studio behind the anime learned that Krillin would be put on the bus for this arc, they asked Toriyama to create a role specifically for Krillin's voice actors to play so they could keep her on payroll. Toriyama's solution was Yajirobe. I'm not going to disparage this because it was very nice of everyone involved to make sure Miss Mayumi Tanaka wouldn't suffer from financial hardships. But I don't think Yajirobe should have been top 5 strongest like he was. At Korin's place, Goku eats a senzu and gets healed up to full health. We already knew that senzu could keep someone full for 10 days, allowing them to spam energy sapping techniques like the Kamehameha much longer than normal. But now they also have healing properties. The wording is vague here, but we're only told that senzu can restore damaged flesh. Damaged being the operative word, not missing. Just keep that in the back of your little brain bucket for now. Korin lets the cat out of the bag that Roshi died standing up to Piccolo, and Goku tries to rush off to fight him again. Upon rereading this arc for my review, this is the part that pissed me off the most. Despite how Goku's intelligence gets memed on by the fanbase, he is first and foremost a problem solver, as long as the problem is shaped like an 8-foot-tall natural disaster in human form. After getting beat to literal death by a nerfed version of Piccolo, he shouldn't be eager to go round 2 against a stronger Piccolo without an ace up his sleeve. The fact that the lesson about not rushing into fights just hasn't sunk in yet is infuriating to me. And to make matters worse, the fact that Korin's solution is a power-up that gives you a massive power boost for free is just... I am sorry for the man I'm about to become, but...
Oh, no!
This breaks every rule in the book. Time and time again, Dragon Ball has established that getting stronger by your own hand is what makes you heroic, and those who either send their minions to do their dirty work or rely on lies and deception are sniveling cowards. And we'd keep developing this theme, with every technique that relies on borrowing someone else's power, be it fusion, absorption, or even the Genki Dama, never actually getting the kill. Well, except that one time, but Toriyama wanted to retire, so what do you want from me? Once more, this retroactively creates a plot hole back in the Red Ribbon Army saga. Why didn't Korin offer the real Ultra Divine Water the first time around? We were just as pressed for time back then. Was it because he wanted Goku to learn a lesson? A lesson about not rushing to snap decisions? Well, he did a bang-up job. It's only been, 5 seconds since the last time he did that? And Goku. Ooh, Goku. Him accepting this freebie is extremely out of character. Remember this? Yeah, you know why he did that? Because he wanted to get stronger on his own. I cannot emphasize how badly this power-up screwed the pooch. In one fell swoop, Toriyama shit on the biggest and most impactful theme of original Dragon Ball. I don't know how he thought this was a good idea, or why his editor didn't call him out on this. Speaking of his editor, do you know that Piccolo is based off him? God, don't get me sidetracked with fun facts. I'm angry here. And to cap off this entire terrible situation, the Ultra Divine Water just doesn't make any sense. We're told the Ultra Divine Water draws out all of your potential. Therefore, if you've already gotten as strong as possible, it won't work. When I first read this, I thought it meant Goku was going to absorb the power of the Great Ape into his base form, making transforming superfluous. But that can't be what happened, because if Goku did somehow gain the ability to use the Uzaru multiplier in base in a way similar to Broly in Superhero, he would have eviscerated everything between now and Nappa. Okay, so it didn't actually draw out the power of the Uzaru, it just drew out the power of his base form. Except no, it didn't, because this was definitely not Goku's peak for the entire series. It wasn't even his peak for original Dragon Ball. We're not looking good so far, but maybe we can salvage this. There's always a popular interpretation the Ultra Divine Water is just poison, and surviving the near-death experience is what makes you stronger. Except no, because Goku gains the ability to sense ki from drinking this water, meaning it definitely had some kind of mystical power. I'm tired, boss. The only bone I can throw this stupid water is that at least it's implied Goku could have reached this height on his own if he trained long enough. There just wasn't time. It makes me mad because it didn't have to be this way. There's already a perfectly good power-up waiting in the wings. Goku's previous training arc was about training his tail. You know what his tail is the secret to? The Uzaru. Stay with me here. Korin says that when he's bored, he likes to look down at everything happening on the surface below. Maybe on the fateful night when Goku transformed and made pancakes, Korin witnessed it. The reason Master Roshi sent Goku away after the Fortune Teller Baba arc was because Goku needed to train his tail to overcome its weakness. Roshi could be no help there, since obviously he has no tail. Maybe once it grew back, Goku stopped by Korin's tower for some tail training advice, since, surprise surprise, Korin has a tail. While training, Korin secretly realizes Goku's tail is the secret to tapping into the giant form he saw on the fateful night. But not wanting Goku to disparage, he kept it a secret, instead giving him a few points on how to strengthen his tail before sending him off. But here, at Goku's lowest point, Korin tells him that he hasn't trained his tail to completion. If he can unlock the true power accessible through his tail, then maybe, just maybe, he can be Piccolo. So just like Ten Shinhan training with the Mafuba, Goku gets to work, training throughout the entire night, strengthening his tail. Then, during the battle with Piccolo, in a moment of desperation, Goku feels some mysterious power flowing from his tail, and unlocks some type of form similar to the wrathful form that Broly took when he can tap into the Uzaru's power without transforming. See? Essentially the same result, only we skip the stupid water nonsense and have Goku actually train to unlock it. Would that have been so hard? I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, so let's just check in on Ten Shinhan. Tien's position right now is incredibly ironic. Krillin is dead, Roshi's dead, Chaozu is dead, Goku is missing and presumed dead, Yamcha is in no state to fight, and most of the miscellaneous martial artists of Earth have been killed off. Ten Shinhan finally got his dream of being the best martial artist, and it couldn't have come in a worse way, because now the fate of the world is on him. Ten Shinhan and Goku are two sides of the same coin. Both are martial arts prodigies, both learn moves incredibly fast, and both have alien cheat codes on. They even both have their own funny guy. The only difference is that Goku found someone who is a good influence, while Tien found someone who is a bad influence. It was after getting smoked that Tien realized being uplifting and a force for good is what makes you stronger, not being evil. I read him training to master the Mafuba, even though he knew the Mafuba gets you killed if your ki reserves are too low, as him committing to being redeemed. He wants to make up for all the people he hurt by protecting martial arts. And tying back to this arc's theme about how you achieve your goals, you must be prepared to sacrifice. He's so committed that even after learning the rice cooker is cracked and won't make a suitable vessel for sealing, he still doesn't back down, opting to continue the fight even though he knows it's suicide. Tien squaring up to Piccolo here is the perfect time to talk about how, despite all of this arc's flaws, it's still a work of art, because this is where Toriyama perfected the Dragon Ball secret formula. Every arc from Piccolo onwards, even into Super, follows the same structure. Step 1. New villain shows up and establishes how strong they are by destroying an already established side character. Step 2. Goku steps up to the villain and gets thrashed. Step 3. The sidecast fights to stay alive, with varying degrees of success, to buy time for Goku while he runs away and trains to get a power-up. The villain also normally gets a power-up around here as well. Step 4. Goku comes back with a new power-up, and he and the villain fight to see whose power-up is better. No matter what your favorite arc is, they all follow this pattern, and it's kind of a genius story structure. Writing this way ensures the side characters will always have something to do, even if it's just be stall fodder, while the main character still gets the final win. Because after all, GT does stand for Goku time. This story structure was so effective, it'd get copied by every other mangaka for years to come. Think the Straw Hats stalling the Fishmen while waiting for Luffy to get out of the pool. All of Konoha stalling the Six Paths while Naruto gets back from stage training. Or the Hero World stalling Shigaraki while Deku catches an air Uber. I'm telling you, all of the best shonen writing arcs were written using this formula. Come on, Tien, really? You couldn't even job to the main villain? You had to job to the main villain's assistant? I guess it was worth it, because we got one last indicator of Goku's true power, as he demolishes the dude that was throwing around Tien like a rag doll with one hit. You know shit's about to get serious when Kid Goku hits this pose. So let's analyze this fight, because without analysis, what is Shonen Jump but flashy laser shows? Like many, what drew me into anime was not just the set pieces, but how it's a direct visualization of whose philosophy is better. Two individuals clash, and whoever wins must have been the one who picked a better route to strength. And here we have two characters who aren't so different. They're both aliens, they were both sent away from their homes as a last-ditch attempt to survive an apocalyptic event, and they both desired to go stronger. To understand Piccolo's motives, you have to understand he's the accumulation of all the evil in the heart of a child who grew up watching his family slowly die to natural disasters. He was forced to say goodbye to everything and forge a new home on a distant planet. Imagine how much fear, and how much hate by extension, would build up inside a person raised like that. He grew hateful of humans after being beaten by one, and now seeks to crush all of humanity as revenge. And his pathway to that goal is by crushing martial arts. Martial arts has been shown to be a pathway for self-improvement for the entire series. The only evidence you need is to look at the numerous people Goku helped turn their lives around through his actions. The real reason Piccolo wants to destroy martial arts is to forever cut off that method of growth. That's why he goes through the entire charade of breaking into King Fairy's castle, 10 out of 10 name by the way, and pronouncing himself king of everything. It's why he blows up the city, legalizes all crime, and details his plans to slowly exterminate humanity over the next 43 years. He wants humans to watch everything they built come crumbling down, and live, too weak and scared to ever rise up. And opposing him is one brave little man, refusing to despair or give in to weakness. He's not just a hero, but he hates bullies. He's no bringer of justice, but he'll never turn his head when he sees someone being hurt. He only does it to get stronger, but every bit of that strength will be dedicated to crushing evil the moment it hurts someone he cares about. The reason Goku and Piccolo could never coexist is because the only way to stop Goku from trying to get stronger is to kill him. And even then, he's going to continue the grind in Otherworld. And so they clash, and this fight is brutal. We see 3 of Goku's limbs snap like twigs. The art for this entire saga is insane. Up until now, the most brutal thing we've seen is Kenshiro's ancestor getting a spear through the chest. But here, so many people get donut punched. The art is so much bloodier, and it carries on for the rest of the series. Krillin's vacant eyes once his corpse is found really sells the idea that he's gone. The suddenness of losing him reinforced by everyone carrying around his limp body like a doll. I love Piccolo's looming silhouette in his debut chapter. Fun fact, Toriyama straight up forgot how many fingers Piccolo is supposed to have when drawing him giving this gesture. His face screaming in agony as he gets caught in the evil containment wave is haunting. By the way, the anime broke continuity with their younger selves looking like this when they're supposed to look like this. They look just like Tien minus the third eye. Guess he does not have much to look forward to as he ages, huh? Toriyama just does a great job of making Piccolo expressive in general. The many faces he makes, being in shock, horror, or rage, really sell how hateful and alien he is. Without a word going to that scene where he puked up an egg. That is disgusting. Toriyama also made the very impressive choice to draw the Great Ape behind Goku every time he used an attack that's been powered up by the Ultra Divine Water, to sell how he's being fueled by the power and rage from the Uzaru. This was a nice bit of flair. It reminds me of the Triceratops fist from Baki. I can't say that I miss it because it would have gotten repetitive after a while, but it's nice to see the Great Ape getting some recognition, and I can safely crown this fight as the best in the series up till this point. We have all the disrespectful classics, including Goku eating all of Piccolo's attacks and no-selling them. He straight up throws the 7.5 foot tall monster like a ragdoll. We have all the weird and bouncy angles that make Dragon Ball great, and both of them pull a, I guess we're getting serious. Get used to hearing that because we're gonna hear it a lot. After watching Goku eat one of his strongest attacks no problem, Piccolo realizes he can't blow away Goku in one hit. He'll have to be more strategic than that, and starts whittling Goku down limb by limb. But Goku gets around it by giving his 2 biggest Dragon Ball companions one last hurrah. He leans on the Quinto Rune and Nuibo, literally, and lets them be his legs one last time as he stands up for humanity. A nice bit of symbolism that's incredibly underrated. And I told you, Goku's a problem solver. Figuring out how to get around Piccolo's defense by warping the Kamehameha, Piccolo would have been roasting over Yajirobe's open fire if it weren't for taking Tien hostage. But it's all good because they have the Dragon Balls, so even if Goku kills Tien off, they can bring him back. Except they don't. With Piccolo rising high in the sky to finish him off, Goku's state of mind here is truly something to be recognized. Goku started this arc so cheerful and happy. The usual Goku headspace. He was so strong and confident he could become the world's strongest. And even if he made some mistakes along the way, that's what the Dragon Balls are for. But part of maturing is realizing that we lose things. And things we lose can't always come back. This man has taken Goku's best friend, Goku's teacher, destroyed the Dragon Ball that was his only keepsake of his grandpa, destroyed his Cloud friend, and done his best to destroy the sport Goku loves. And now, lying on the ground with a broken body, Goku's realized none of it's coming back. Even if he kills Piccolo now, the damage is done. It'd only be natural for anyone to crumble under these circumstances, but Goku is becoming a man. And part of becoming a man is realizing you'll lose things along the way, and accepting that, and focusing on what you have left. And right now, Goku has one working arm left, and that alone is all the reason he needs to fight.
虎の全てをこの剣にかける弾き返してくれるわ貫け
This is one of the best pages in Dragon Ball. Goku bursting through the eternally young body of Piccolo, the young body he put in so much legwork to get back and took so much pride in, with his only working limb outstretched, in one final attack powered by the Kamehameha, the technique created by the brave master who gave his life, wearing the torn gi of his best friend, whose death kicked off the entire arc, and channeling the spirit of the Uzaru. The monster that once took Goku's family away has redeemed itself by giving him the strength to protect Earth. All of it in one beautifully drawn page with Piccolo hunched over, face frozen in pain, while Goku triumphantly poses, fist up, all with no background to put an emphasis on the moment. With nothing left, Piccolo spits out one last plot hook for the next arc and then explodes, contrasting against Goku. Despite saving the world, his only thoughts are the friends he lost, getting so emotional that he's brought to tears. Tien reassures Goku, telling him to cast aside what's been lost and focus on what remains. Once they're healed up, they'll meet again at the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai to settle their differences. And so our heroes part to lick their wounds. Also, Toriyama just straight up forgot that Yamcha's supposed to have a broken leg, because here he's carrying Tien when he shouldn't even be able to carry himself. This arc has some extreme flaws. I did not like the Ultra Divine Water power-up. I know Toriyama is creative enough, he could have found a way to catch Goku up to young Demon King Piccolo without having to cook up something as contrived as this. But this arc also gave us one of the most legendary aura farmers in history. There's something to be said about having ambition, about being able to forge ahead no matter what it takes. Master Roshi and Tien both had ghosts of their past they wanted to put to rest, and both found the ambition to go through with it, knowing it could cost them their lives. I clowned Tien in my last video, but it's genuinely inspirational to see how he recognized his way of doing things was wrong and wanted to make up for it, emerging an emotionally cleansed man. Goku has finally learned that if he wants to show up to a fight with the big boys, he better be packed by a power level worth shaking a Noibo at. Part of maturing is realizing that fairy tale endings don't happen. Reviving Upa's dad left him confident that he could fix any of his screw-ups with the Dragon Balls. But sometimes we don't get fairy tale endings. Sometimes, instead of happily ever afters, we just get left to pick up the pieces. Thank you all so much for coming along with me. I was shocked by some of the stuff that jumped out to me while revisiting this arc. Despite how good it was, I actually thought this arc had some of the most room for improvement out of any arc so far. I guess that's just a testament to how good Toriyama is as a writer, that even one of his storylines that wasn't as tightly written still made manga history. Other than that, I am stoked to have Piccolo as part of the main cast now. It's funny to think how if the previous Kami of Earth didn't make the Nameless Namekian split, and if Goku didn't lose his memories, the two's positions likely would have been flip-flopped, with Piccolo fighting as the Guardian of Earth while Goku fought to conquer it. That'd make for a good what-if in the Tenkaichi Budokai games. Speaking of the Tenkaichi Budokai, feels like just yesterday that I was reading the 22nd, and now we're on to the 23rd. Time flies when you're having fun, and I hope that you're having enough fun to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on so you see when we're ready to go through with the last arc of Dragon Ball. Until then, later. Imagine if they gave young Piccolo this Stitch-ass sounding voice in Daima.
My parents, just one, Piccolo, and he was kind enough to give me everything he had.